Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. This whole thing about Claressa Shields and Franchon Crews being a fixed fight. Let me just say this. I don't believe the fight's fixed, okay? We talked about it during the live. Every time we talk about, anytime it comes up and I address what the viewers and subscribers, their concerns like, hey, this is just a fifth fight between Franchon and Claressa. We can't take it serious. Claressa knows she's going to win, or it's a guarantee she's going to win because they need her to win because of this big contract, and Franchon is just going to sit there and take a dive. Let me tell you something. Y'all can sit there, man, put me in front of a firing squad, and they can riddle me up with bullets. I don't see that happening. Do they know each other? Yeah. Franchon, has she referred to her as a little sister and I love you and hugged her up and coochie coo and all that? Yeah. She did do that. There's a relationship there. But I just can't see Franchon just listen to her talk about her mom, about boxing, just about how hard it's been for her grind to get to where she's at right now. I just can't see her saying, all right, I'm going to throw the fight so Claressa Shields' career could continue to go on the right trajectory and where I have to reset now and go to the back of the line. And I'll be honest with you, I just don't think it's that much money there that would convince Franchon, let me do it. 20, 30 million, she may think about it, just like most of us would. But she has integrity. As a matter of fact, Franchon, if you're watching this video, comment and leave the link where we can go buy your music or download your music. Because me and you talked a while ago, man, you had that goddamn song that was trending or moving up the chart somewhere. And all I can say is that song was the truth. You can really sing. And I've been wanting to download that shit. I'll probably reach out to you today because I want to get that song for real. It's really good, man. But as far as what's going on here with Claressa, Franchon, all the rumors and all this, look, man, I want to try to handle this responsibly and intelligently because this topic sits right on the line between fan speculation and serious accusations, man. So understand we got to frame a lot of this as perception, rumor, psychology, boxing history, and public reaction. And I want to make it clear that there's nothing proven. It's just people having a conversation. And make sure people understand why fight fixing is extremely rare and dangerous. It used to happen years ago, but that shit is dangerous now, man. So let's understand. You know, the $8 million contract and why it changed the conversation. Sometimes I wish Claressa Shields would just be quiet, man. All that talent, but she got more mouth than talent. And she was out here publicly celebrating this 4-fight, $8 million deal. And it shouldn't have been to me, it should have been a victory lap, but it kind of shouldn't have been. Because on paper, is it historic? I mean, I'll be honest with you. To me, I don't know how historic it is when I look at the kind of money that Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano made, you know. But I will say that it's a step in the right direction. And, you know, it's validation. You know, it's validation. It's a moment female boxing has waited decades for, to just see women out here getting, you know, decent deals and decent money. But in the modern internet era, you know, when you out here bragging about big money, it doesn't just bring applause, it brings suspicion, especially when you're trying to articulate the bonus, the back end, how a $2 million fight could end up being close, depending on if you have 1 or 2 fights that year, could end up being more like 16 million total. But the bottom line is, you come and give us half the information, and we can't solve for the unknown, it brings conclusion. We can't close the gap because you're not giving us all the information. So what happens is people start to become suspicious. Now, for some fans, the number itself became the story, not the achievement, not the milestone of, okay, the biggest deal in the women's history of boxing, right? People are like, yeah, okay, we hear that, but something ain't right about this bullshit. You know, instead of asking how Claressa earned it, many ask whether the money now guarantees her success moving forward. And many people didn't understand, you know, how the hell she earned all of a sudden this $2 million a fight deal, possibly $16 million in 1 year. Like, where'd that come from? Is what many fans were asking. Wasn't there before, it's there now. How? Who, what, when, where, why, how? And that's where the whisper started, man. Not because of evidence, but because boxing fans have been conditioned by history to distrust money, promoters, and distrust power. When fighters start talking contracts before fights, some fans stop thinking competitively and start thinking politically. This narrative shifts from who wins to who needs to win. And when they start to have those conversations, it's like, shit, Claressa needs to win. It ain't about who's going to win, who needs to win. That's the person who's going to get the W. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just telling you what the fans are saying. But I can understand why fans jump to fixed fight conclusions in boxing, but I still think we need to try to understand, because some people can't even explain why. I just don't like Claressa, so I feel this way. You know, it's like peel the layers back and give me a better explanation of how you arrived at that conclusion. But I will say this, boxing has a long, ugly past with corruption, protected fighters, favorable matchmaking, and promotional favoritism. That's no secret. Not saying it's happening here. While modern boxing is far more regulated, so fighters would be more scared to try to pull some bullshit. Because the memory of scandals never leaves the sport. So when fans hear about a guaranteed money, powerful promoters, and high-profile champions under pressure, they begin to connect dots, even when those dots don't actually touch. You see, Claressa. That contract announcement happened during a period where her public image was already under strain. This is what created a problem for her. She messed around, disrespected Layla Ali, was out here under fire, Serrano, Katie Taylor making money hand over fist. They had to do something with Claressa Shields. All of a sudden, there's this huge deal. She's out here doing interviews. She got on makeup. All this shit is going on. Even me, I try to be fair, but even I was looking like, man, this shit is suspect. You know what I mean? And again, that's my right, and that's everyone's right to sit back and look and say, if there's something that hasn't been going on, all of a sudden it starts to develop, and there's a pattern of all these great things happening for somebody. You got to kind of timeline it and say, okay, it's like when I used to be in briefings, we'd be talking about metrics, or we'd be talking about weather and flying, and how there's certain year after year, there's certain months of the year where you can generate more sorties because of the weather. And other times of the year, just look at the data, it's going to be less sorties being generated because poor weather, you can't fly as much. So the better weather, you fly more. Horrible weather, you fly less. And that's why for pilots to get their training in, you know, you definitely want to bulk up during the summer months and spring months when you have good weather. So you can take a look at that data, right? And those data points. But when you look at Claressa Shields shit, I'm looking at, since she's become a boxer, there's no data, no empirical data there. There's nothing there that we can pull from to show, okay, these type of opportunities have presented themselves to her whenever she does this or she does that. There's nothing that's triggering a reaction or a result anywhere close to what was triggered with her getting this supposedly be the biggest deal in women's boxing history. It just happened. Let me tell y'all, shit like that doesn't just happen. But at the end of the day, boxing fans started connecting dots, even when the dots don't actually touch. And I just think it's because Claressa's contract announcement happened where her public image was under big time strain. social media conflicts, personal drama, online arguments, public backlash for, calling out Layla Ali. That shit created an environment where fans were already skeptical of her. In moments like that, anything that looks like privilege becomes fuel. The contract didn't create the suspension. It amplified existing distrust when it comes to Claressa Shields. Franchon Crews-Dezurn and why this rumor hit her hard, let me tell you something. For Franchon Crews, the idea that she would take a loss for money isn't just insulting, it attacks her identity. Fighters like Franchon don't come from privilege, they come from survival. Every belt, every opportunity, every payday is earned through pain, sacrifice, and pride. Suggesting she would lie down in the biggest fight of her career cuts against everything she's built. This is why Franchon has responded emotionally and firmly, not defensively, but defiantly. And I'm going to tell you, I don't see Franchon doing it. Look, I'm all about the conversation. Man, Franchon gonna lay down. She's gonna sit there and take a dive. I'm all about the sense of humor. I'm all about the joke. But once the dust settles, it's like, yeah, that shit's funny, but really, I can't see that happening. If someone says, well, Hood, you say anything's possible in boxing, why don't you think Franchon will do that? Honestly, because I hear her talk about her mother. That's why. She won't throw the fight. She talk about her mother. I listen to these athletes, especially when they talk about a parent. That shit just jumps right out at me. So I just can't see her doing that. But that's why she's out here responding and she's being firm. And she's like, yo, she wants fans to understand it's not a paycheck for her. It's a legacy fight. And she wants the legacy and she wants the money. And is this the biggest fight person of her career? I don't know. They're not saying. The only person talking about money is Claressa Shields. But I do think there's a whole lot of motivation there for more than ever for Franchon to win because victory changes her life forever. And I'm going to tell you right now, especially now that she's out here and she's aware that a lot of boxing fans don't see her as a threat to Claressa and they feel that she's going to throw the fight. I'm telling you that bothers Franchon. She like, okay, forget all the jokes. This ain't cool. Like, yeah, we got to promote the fight. We got to go back and forth. People can feel what they want about that, but they really think that I'm going to get in here and lay down? She like, nah. And I do think she's going to make sure, I need to get a new chair, man. Oh, I got to get a new chair. I may go buy one this weekend. One of them $500, $600 chairs. Because I got pain at my damn tailbone, boy. But the bottom line is she won't do it, man. So, is this a friendly competition? I think it's friendship, and then I think there's competition. And this is why fans don't trust close relationships, right? One of the reasons that this rumor persists is because of that press conference. That first press conference that looked like it was in a janitor's closet with wet mops hanging up in the background and shit. You see, Claressa and Franchon don't have the kind of public hatred fans are used to seeing before big fights. They're friends. Pretty damn simple. Known each other for a long time. There hasn't been constant disrespect. There isn't any venom. To some fans, that feels unnatural, even suspicious. Boxing audiences have been trained to believe real fights require real animosity. There was a little dust up on Twitter last night. 95% of people felt like it was all bullshit. It wasn't genuine. Was it entertaining? Yes, but they felt like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't real. Where was that during the press conference? It was all kumbaya and love and can we all just get along? Now you're ready to turn to Tupac and hit him up and shit. They're like, nah, we ain't going for that. But professionalism is often mistaken for collusion. Respect is confused with weakness. Friendship is mistaken for compromise. In reality, some of the most brutal fights in boxing history happened between fighters who respected each other deeply. Respect doesn't dull competition, it sharpens it. Now, why throwing a fight makes no sense for Franchon? I mean, let's just think about this shit from a logical standpoint. Throwing this fight would be career suicide for Franchon Crews. Even if they couldn't prove it, we would know. Just like Malik Scott when he fought Deontay Wilder and when he went down from the Phantom Punch. I could totally understand people saying that was bullshit. Because I watched that shit about 200 times. I'm like, Wilder ain't hit that man. Malik Scott couldn't even act. He couldn't even act that shit off. He couldn't even fake it. That was pretty horrible. But I'm not saying that it was fixed. I'm just saying it just looked to me like Wilder didn't land a shot. But what I will say is, for Franchon, if she loses convincingly, her leverage disappears. If she loses suspiciously, her reputation is damaged forever. No amount of money offsets being branded unreliable, untrustworthy, or compromised. More importantly, boxing commissions, sanctioning bodies, promoters, officials, judges, and regulators all scrutinize championship fights. So fixing a fight at this level will require silence and cooperation from dozens of people, an almost impossible task in today's hyper-documented sports world. So what Franchon has to gain by winning? Shit, she got everything to gain. Everything. Her market value will explode, her legacy cemented. She becomes a woman who beat Claressa Shields when the world didn't believe she could. That kind of win opens doors to endorsements, rematches, and history. I will tell you this. If Franchon beats Claressa Shields, I 100% believe Franchon will be on every talk show, will be getting endorsements. She'll be blowing up world trade, no doubt. And I think a lot of that will be not only because she beat Claressa Shields, because of the frustration and anger people have with Claressa. They're going to take Franchon because she's an Olympian too. And they're going to take her, man, and she's just going to go out here. And I think she should go out here and get as much money as possible if she beats Claressa Shields. I don't think this is a moment to cash out. This is a moment to cash in on greatness. And I think she's going to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm 100% sure she's going to do that. Now, as far as Claressa Shields, the GOAT, 19 world titles, 2 gold medals, 5 weight divisions, 4-time undisputed. What Claressa has to lose if people don't believe? I'll say this, when it comes to the GOAT, the danger isn't losing the fight. It's losing trust. And she's already lost a lot of trust from boxing fans. When fans believe outcomes are predetermined, victories feel hollow. Dominant performances get questioned, knockouts get dissected. Wins don't silence critics, they empower them. This is the real cost of chaos, man. Not losing belts, losing belief. Claressa didn't create this rumor intentionally, man. Her public behavior, that public behavior, attitude, contract talk, talking to business, just instead of shutting up. Want everyone to know, I'm okay, you're not okay, look at me. Ongoing controversies have made fans more willing to assume the worst when it comes to anything Claressa Shields is involved with. That shit is not limited to boxing. Perception becomes reality faster than truth can catch up. And it's pretty sad, man. So, will this be a war? I think so. I don't think it's going to be a favor. Although many people feel it's going to be a favor and they're not tuning in. At least they say that. Some saying they're not even trying to watch that shit on Fire Stick. Like they're not watching it. They don't care. But what I'll say is all signs, in my opinion, point to a violent, competitive, emotionally charged fight. not because of hatred, but because both women understand what's at stake. Claressa, especially with the shit going on with Papoose and taxes, and she under so much pressure right now, boy. So here it is. You had, it's a whole nother video, I should say. Claressa was the one. I'm gonna probably save most of this for a video, right? So now Papoose, the circus is in goddamn town. So first it was Claressa, who was out here, you know, bringing the circus in town. Writing this down. And then Papoose liked to be the guy who was kind of on the outside. And many of us saying, why does he get control of her? She's bringing him into her bullshit. But if you look now, he's right there alongside of her. You know, it should turn into Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Just involves Claressa and Papoose, man. All of his drama now with the IRS stuff, he and Claressa both have just created a whole bunch of drama. But I'm telling you, Claressa needs this fight to restore faith. You know what I'm saying? Both of these women know what's at stake. I think you're going to be violent, competitive, emotionally charged. Franchon fights to shatter assumptions. Neither can afford to coast. Neither can afford controversy. They need to get in there and bang. This better not look like no sparring session. This should not be a business favor. It better not look like a business favor. This is survival at the highest level, and both of them need to show that. So, I think the truth of the matter is chaos creates conspiracies. The belief that this fight is fixed doesn't come from evidence. It comes from exhaustion. Fans are tired of drama, tired of headlines. Fans are tired of distractions. When trust erodes, conspiracy fills the gap. But when the bell rings, none of that shit's going to matter. Pain can't be faked. Conditioning can't be scripted. Heart can't be negotiated. But none of that matters because the fans don't believe anymore. They believe it's going to be fixed. I'm telling, I can talk to them blue in the face. It's not going to be fixed. $8 million, friendship, distrust, all this chaos before they step into the ring. But Franchon is firing back. She's like, I'm not throwing anything away. I'm not giving. There ain't no fix, no nothing. I'm coming to win. But when you think about Claressa talking about the money, I just get 4 fights, $2 million, $16 million in a year, $3 million advance, and there's more where that come from. And oh yeah, and I stopped having sex 6 weeks before I fight, but I take care. I make sure my man's okay. All that shit got people out here suspicious about Claressa Shields. And that's why there are a lot of questions, and that's why, you know, people are saying, yo, this fight is a joke. But that's what happens when fan trust is eroded. I'm trying to tell you, this fight is a real fight. This shit ain't good. Y'all gonna see. You're gonna be like, after the first minute, y'all gonna say, oh, well, I was wrong. Y'all gonna see. They're gonna go at it. And Franchon for sure is not coming to lay down to no damn Claressa Shields. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. In the breeze.